Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Archer's Garage and Whatnot. Today we're back in the garage and we're doing some woodworking. Kind of a somber one today. I was on the fence on whether I would video this or not, but I think I need to. So recently, my biggest supporter, my biggest supporter passed away. And so today we're going to build him an urn for his ashes. This is harder than I thought it would be. I had no intention of coming in here and getting emotional. But October 29th. Yep. My dad passed away. He was always, I'll bet you, the first one to watch the videos. He had it set up to where, he would ding them. And whenever I put something out, he would say, "Hey, bud, just watch your video," or, "Great video, bud," or, something along those lines. And Dad was always very supportive. Just an awesome, awesome guy. He died 10 days shy of 75 years old. So, let's see if we can muscle through this and just do something nice for him. Alright, so here's what we're doing. I was going to pick out a better wood. I was going to get something nice. But, you always hear about somebody being in a pine box. So here's some pine. So we're going to start off with pine. We're going to make them a nice box. It's going to be 10 inches wide. 10 inches wide, about 9 inches deep. Probably 8 inches tall. And Dad loved leather work until his hands, he lost a lot of strength in his hands over the years, and he had to basically stop doing leather work. Not 100%, but mostly. So one of my daughters loved getting in there and helping him out with his leather. So I'm gonna have her make the hinges out of leather, and so let's make this thing nice for the old man. And Dad was an avid hunter. Man, he loved hunting. So in March, so this is still January. So in March, we're going to go down to the Everglades. He loved hunting the Everglades. We live in Florida, of course. And we're going to leave him out where he loved to hunt. There's a place called Barn Strand. And he loved that area. So we're gonna let him stay out there, or let his ashes stay out there. He's in heaven. But for us who are still living, we can go out there and visit his final resting place. All right, first and foremost, we're going to run this over my chop saw here, get a nice smooth edge here, because when you buy them from the store, it's not the greatest, and I want this thing to be just right for the old man. So let's just knock an eighth of an inch off here, make sure we get a nice edge to start with. All right, so what I'm gonna do for the base, I'm probably gonna make it I'm just doing all this out of my head, guys. So just, you know, stay with me and enjoy this while I, you know, drown my sorrows here. So the base, probably going to make it about 11 inches. And then the box itself is going to be 10 inches, right? So it'll have a little bit of a overhang. And then the sides, I think on the corners, to make it out of a different type of wood. Maybe oak. I've got some oak around. Yeah, I've got some leftover oak. I say leftover. I've got some extra oak because I'm also making Dad's memorial flag holder. You know, I'm honored to be able to do this for him, but it hurts. So just bear with me. So anyway, Dad was a Army vet, just a good dude. So he deserves the best. So I'm gonna make him a memorial flag. You can buy them wherever, but it's not the same. My mom, when we had Dad cremated, the funeral home actually gave us 2 flags, which, you know, God blessed us, you know. So got one for my brother, one for me. And so anyway, so rather than go buy a memorial flag holder, I'm making one. I'll probably make one for my brother too if he wants it. But anyhow, making it out of red oak, and it's gonna be beautiful. Gonna be beautiful. All right, so there's the base. I'm gonna trim it this way too, but anyway, so that's 11 inches, and I remember always doing woodworking with the old man. He would always say either cut the line or cut on the left side of the line. And hey, Dad, I cut the line. So it is 11 inches. I cut the line. All right, so let's figure out how wide we want it. We'll make it that wide. All right, so I only cut a 1/4 inch off. So this is now 10 inches by 9 inches. I was going to bring it in here to 8 inches, but it just looked a little bit small. You got to think when I go gluing the sides on, you know, they're a half inch, so that's another inch. And I don't want the old man to be crowded in there. So I want to have him have some space. So that's that. So now we start on the edges. Like I said, I'm gonna cut some lengthwise, and then I'm gonna have some strips of some oak here to make the ends. So I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it, but that's what I'm gonna do. That's my intention anyway. All right, so there's the idea. So these are oak. And of course this is pine. And then there's going to be pine here, 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 and here. And then the top. I may go a hair shorter, but I'm not sure. No, I'll leave it like that. And we'll just start filling it in. Now, when I poly these, of course it'll be a different color because, you know, oak reacts to poly differently than pine does. So there we go. Alright, so essentially this is what we're going to have. These are 9 by 7. These are 7 by 7. And here's your box. And then of course these are 3/4 by 7 because inch wood is only 3/4 of an inch. So there's that. Now I got to make the top. I got to glue all this together and make the top. Then we're going to hold it together, of course, with leather straps. Then I've got a brass clasp to put on there. And my wife is quite the artist, so she's going to draw some stuff on there. So that's that. So this is the lid. Well, essentially, I need to cut it down because it's too big. So my thought was I set the pine up there, and it just looked too plain. You know, just have a flat piece of pine up there. So what I did, I took a piece of oak, going to put it in the middle, going to sandwich it there, and glue that, and then trim it as needed to make it fit. And then of course the leather straps are gonna attach to this, and then I got a brass clasp that'll attach to that and to that, and it'll open. So now's the time to start gluing everything together. So once I get all that glued up, I'll show you what that looks like. I gotta tell you, this is the hardest thing I've ever built. Not difficulty wise, like technically wise, but emotionally, it's tough. My son and I have something going on next month, and it's for my dad as well. I may video that, I may not, but there's some really interesting things in the spiritual realm that happened yesterday because of that. And whether or not I film what my son and I are going to do, I will talk about that stuff. So really, really interesting. A lot of crying yesterday, but it's been a rough couple months, man. My dad died, like I said, October 29th. Really good friend of mine died December 22nd. So it's been rough. Been a rough holiday season. So let me get back to work. Call your loved ones today. Tell them how you feel. That's all I got to say. All right, here we are, all glued up. I say all glued up, as glued up as we can get. Once these set, these are the sides, then I can glue them to these two sides. And here's the top. Once it sets, then I can cut it to size. So I'm about as far as I can get today. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to a different project. And I'll get back with y'all on this one, which will be seconds for y'all, but a day for me. But I'll see y'all once everything glues up. Alright guys, so here it is glued together, well mostly glued together. It's not glued to the base yet, but the sides are all glued together. So you get an idea of what it's going to look like. Now I got to start my sanding. And then here is the lid. Not cut down to size yet, but you get the idea of what it's going to look like. So I've got pine, oak, pine, and oak on the corners. So we got that. Just talking to my wife, showing it to her. She wants me to stain it. I don't want to stain it really dark. She wants me to go with kind of a lighter stain, but she said if I put poly on it like it is, you know, the pine brings out kind of a yellowish color, and that's not her favorite. So anyhow, I'll probably pick something out for it today or tomorrow. But today I'll do every carpenter's favorite, and sand. So I'm going to sand all this excess glue off and any little imperfections like here where it's raised up, and get all that off there. So that's where we're at today. Well, that is pretty much what it's going to look like, except for stain and poly and all that. Now I'm going to get started on the leather pieces up here. I'm going to get my daughter's help on that. But yeah, so here's your box. But anyway, like I was saying before, this is pine. That's red oak and pine. Of course, the rest of it's pine except for in the corners. I've got oak there too. So, simple pine box for a good man. Alright, so here is what we're going to make the hinges out of. And if you look close, you can see deer tracks. And what I'm doing, I've got my leather stamp. Put it here, hit it with a hammer, and then I need to fasten it to the box there. Just going to glue it to the box. But anyway, so yeah, Dad loved his leather work. And he loved hunting. Sorry, can't do this without getting emotional, so got to deal with the runny nose. But anyway, like I said, Dad loved hunting. Dad loved his leather work. So I think it's very fitting. So anyhow, so we go there, and then this is going to be the hasp to keep it all together. Here it is, guys. I think it turned out really, really nice. I hope it turns out as good on camera as it does in person. So you can see the difference between the oak and the pine. And of course I'm not going to finish the inside. And there's the lid. You can definitely see the difference there. And what I wound up using for stain is Minwax Early American 230. So I think it turned out really, really nice. So now I'm going to let this dry a little bit and start on the leather work, or attaching the leather work anyhow, and the hasp. Alright guys, so there's the latch on there, and here's how I'm doing the straps. I'm going to glue these, and then to hold them in place I put a piece of wood, and then one of my clamps goes from here to the other side of the box, and that holds that in place. And then I'll do the same thing for the back, and then I'll glue it to the front. And I'll see you guys in just a few seconds when I get it glued up. Alright. Well, I'm sure there's better ways to do it. But I am a novice, and I do this as a hobby. So this is the way I'm doing it. And I'm sure Dad would be proud. I'm making it work with what I've got. So I'll see you guys out here tomorrow once all this dries and you see the finished product. Well, there it is, guys. The completed box. My dad's urn. So, may not look like much, but this was the most difficult thing I have ever built. Not technically, but emotionally. So we're taking my dad to his final resting place next month, and I feel honored to be able to do this. That I have the ability, the skills to be able to do this. But man, was it hard, and to come out here every other day, because you know you do something and the glue's got to dry, you do something and the stain's got to dry, and then the poly's got to dry. It's just like every day. And it just keeps bringing it back up, and man, you know, it just made it tough. So, anyhow, thank you guys for joining me on this one. This was a tough one, and I know I usually try to keep my videos lighthearted and, you know, informative and this is how you do things. But this one was personal. It's gonna be difficult because when I post it, usually within a few minutes of it going live, Dad texts me, "Hey bud, saw your video," or "Great video," or something. Won't get it this time. So, anyway, like I said, I hope you got something out of this one. Hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed it, but in a different way, if that makes any sense at all. So, go call your loved ones. Tell them you love them. You never know when it's your last chance. And we had the opportunity to tell my dad. I mean, it wasn't like it was sudden. We saw the decline. He had good moments and bad moments, and it still wasn't enough time. So, yeah, call your loved ones. Tell them you love them. Do that for me. So, until next time, this is Archer's Garage and Whatnot. This is more of the Whatnot stuff here, because it's, well, we're in the garage, I guess. But, my beard's going crazy. But, anyway, remember, God is good. I love you. God loves you. And, have a blessed day, everybody.